Hey guys, it's Jamie, the running realtor, your Florida realtor. Today we are here and we're going to do a different swing of things. We're going to talk a little bit about the buying process and what it is that you need to look for when you do a purchase of a resale home and you're financing that home. Come inside with me and let's go through all of the steps that you need to look for when you are purchasing a resale home. With over 11 years of experience in the construction business, I have learned so much about the construction of a home, how it's built, and what happens afterwards. Our company used to come in to homes that had water leaks and water damage, and we were able to restore their home and put them back to pre-loss conditions. So I have taken that information and today want to provide you some very pertinent information. When you are buying a resale home and you're going to finance, there are certain steps that you need to take to be able to purchase that home. One of them is going to be an inspection. You're going to have an inspector come into your home and they're going to look at numerous things of the home, including electrical, plumbing, your roof, your septic system, and more. And so when they come in, there is a space for potentially missing something. We are all human, we all make mistakes, so there could be something that you might be missing out on. That includes water damage. Even though the inspector does have to take a look at that, at times you may have someone that may miss it. So I am here to tell you that when you are coming with your inspector, and you are allowed to come with your inspector to view the home the day that they come out, there are certain things that while they are inspecting their areas, you can also help them as a team inspect and find anything that you may not like when you're going to purchase that home. So we're going to go through this home right now and show you different areas that you can find water damage, water leaks, or potential water damage and water leaks when they come in, and what needs to be done after. This is going to be a series that I'm going to start. This first video is going to be talking about general areas where you can find these water leaks. And then also, like I said, I will educate you a little bit on what maybe you should do if you were to find those kind of leaks in your home. This is, of course, once you've lived in your home, if you decided to purchase it and move forward with the sale. But I'm going to have a series of other videos that will be explaining the process of plumbing, the process of roofing, AC, and more. So please make sure that you follow on my channel, Real Estate 101, and that's where you will find all of this very important and educational information that will help you in the long run. When buying your home, one of the things that you want to look at is your windows, all of your windows in the home. You want to make sure that you have a tight seal and that the windows are more of an updated setup. You want to make sure that the maintenance of these windows, making sure that the caulking is always sealed on all corners, even in the inside of this, on the outside portion, but also on the inside. You want to make sure that these are always sealed so that way water does not come in. Sometimes we've seen in situations where there's a sprinkler that is hitting the window constantly, and water is a universal solvent. It will eat up at anything. And so if a sprinkler is consistently hitting a window, it will eat up at that sealant on the outside and eventually make its way into the home. It also can eat up at times, depending on the construction of the outside of the home. It can eat up sometimes that plaster on the outside of the home, or the stucco, and eventually also cracks it and makes its way in to the wall in here. We've seen it in many situations that way, and a small little crack can cause a long-term damage that you did not know was there. So the reason that you want to make sure that the windows are sealed and that they are protected and that you're not getting any water damage into your home that way is because your insurance company will cover you for damages that are sudden and accidental. Remember that word, sudden and accidental. If you do not take care of some type of damage happening in your home and you let it happen for a long time, even if you didn't know, they will not cover the damage that you may have here, whether that is water damage, whether that is mold growth. Being in Florida, we are in perfect conditions, hot, warm, dark, and humid, for it to grow quickly. So do not miss out on that step. When you come into a home, make sure that you're looking at all of the windows, all of the seals. Make sure that you look at baseboards and see that they are also maintained and sealed, that they are caulked against the wall. Later on, I will show you an example of a baseboard that has had water damage and how you want to fix that. But you want to make sure that your windows are sealed and that there is no water damage coming in. A lot of times we've seen where water has hit the window, whether it's rain or a sprinkler, and it damages wood flooring. It damages carpet, but the wood flooring is the worst part, because if that is continuous throughout the house, that's going to be a really expensive fix to make. All right, you guys, one of the main areas of the home that has the obvious signs of water damage most of the time is going to be the kitchen. We have the obvious plumbing in the kitchen. We have plumbing in the bathrooms, but like I said before, bathrooms can be missed, but the kitchen, there's no way to miss it. You know, if there was water damage in the kitchen, you're going to see them on cabinets. You're going to see them on the bottom of the kitchen, the floor of the cabinet. You're going to see them on the flooring. There's different places where you can catch water damage in the kitchen. And again, if you are walking the home with your inspector and you decide that you want to take a look under the cabinet, it would be a good time to make sure that you notice these things. So the first thing that I want to mention is, again, the seals. When it comes to the seals are very important to be maintained and to watch for if you're going to buy a used home, and maintain if you already have a home that you purchased and you want to make sure that you maintain your home in proper condition to avoid any further damage. So the first thing is the sealant around the faucet. You want to make sure that all of the sealant around the faucet is tight, is clean, and is completely done properly, because water always splashes. Water splashes toward the back, water splashes toward the front. And water can and will go under here and in through here, affecting the bottom of this cabinet, which is the floor of the cabinet in your cabinet area. So you want to make sure that that's the first thing that you want to make sure. There is a cartridge inside these faucets that you want to make sure that is not leaking. So for example, a lot of times you can tell that when you pull this out, if this is leaking in here, it's going to be leaking inside your cabinet as well. There's only one way the water can go. So as long as this looks good, you don't see any gunk, you don't see any rust or anything like that, your faucet looks like it's in a pretty good condition. So that's another thing that you want to make sure. You can go ahead and open up the kitchen cabinet, and what you'll find in a kitchen cabinet is this portion here. You want to make sure that it is clean, that it is not, this is going to absorb water. You're going to see water there at some point, maybe a little bit of damage on the floor of the cabinet, and that's normal. That's going to be normal. Again, water escapes pipes all the time, so you want to make sure that, if for something to be more alarmed of, would be that the cabinet either is not the same material. So if this is not of the same material as the rest of your cabinet, something happened here and some type of leak happened that they needed to replace the bottom board, the floor of the cabinet, and obviously that would show that there was some type of water damage, some type of mold damage that is being hidden, or that was replaced at some point, and maybe they had some type of really bad water leak under there. If there was a really bad water leak, you would also find the back of the wall of the cabinet. you'll find that it absorbed some of the water. You'll find watermarks, typically kind of like a wave look in the back of the wall of the cabinet. This cabinet here looks like it's in pretty good condition. There's a little bit of maybe watermarks back there, but there's nothing swollen. All of this looks very good. Doesn't look like it's received any water damage at any point in time. As you can see, you'll also see it on the sides of the cabinet. This will swell very quickly. And those are all signs of potential leak that they had there in the past, some water damage, and then potential, again, mold, which is my biggest point about making these videos, is that I want you to purchase a home that is clean, that is good, and it is a good start for you. You don't want to go into a home. Many times I've seen people purchase a home, they just bought the home, and now they're having to do these kind of repairs. And the insurance company will not cover a previous issue from a previous seller or a previous owner in their policy. So then you end up with the bill. How bad is that? You know, that's not fair, but I'm trying to help you figure out what are the things that you can find so that you are not put in that position. Another thing that you want to look for is in the bottom of the cabinets, and I'm going to show you over this way, but in the bottom of the cabinets, which are called the toe kicks. Something you might see on the toe kicks when observing a home that you're wanting to purchase is those holes that you see there. Those holes are there because a restoration company came here at some point and obviously drilled their holes in the toe kicks of the cabinet because maybe the home had some type of water damage with the previous owner and they had to drill holes in the toe kicks. And they put a machine called an aerator, which contains some tubes that they individually place inside those holes, allowing to dry inside the cavity or behind the cabinets without having to remove the cabinets. All right, guys, so we are on the outside of the home, and the reason we are outside is that right there is a window next to a bathroom that we're about to go into next. As you can see, we have a water spigot on the outside of that bathroom, and at some point, this water spigot has leaked. There was no way to notice that it was leaking on the outside because when you connect the hose, it would spray the water out just fine. It was spraying outward just fine whenever the hose was not on. However, it looks like there was some type of issue with the actual valve and it started leaking inside the wall. So I don't know if you can see the patch-up job there that was done, but it started leaking inside the wall. And by it leaking inside the wall, with time, you can hear a gushing sound when using this bathroom. You can hear that there was definitely water spraying inside that wall. Now I'm going to show you what it would look like on the inside of that wall, what to look for when water damage hits your walls. Okay, you guys, so there are a couple of things here in this bathroom that I would like to point out. When you're coming around a house and you're walking around, you want to see these things and make sure that, again, they are immaculate and that they are clean and maintained. So it doesn't cost you later. I cannot say that enough. You want to be able to walk through these areas and make sure that the house that you are buying does not contain these damages because there could be potential extra costs for your pocket. So when we come into the bathroom, you want to make sure that the toilet is sturdy. If the toilet is not sturdy, that means that the seal at the bottom is not good. The seal is not holding the toilet well, but not only that, neither is the bolts that are on the side of the toilet. They're not holding them down. And what could be causing that? A lot of times when that happens, maybe it was bad installation, maybe it was, the way that they evened out the toilet, it wasn't placed properly. But one of the things that is bad about that is that the toilet will contain a wax ring. It's a ring that holds the drain pipe in the ground and the toilet, and it seals it and makes sure that no escape of water happens. So what happens is that a lot of times that we've seen is that because these toilets are moving around, they're not stable, it breaks that wax ring, causing water to go under the tile. Again, I can't say this enough. Water is a universal solvent of everything, right? And so it can eat up at the grout under the tile. And not only will it eat up the grout under the tile, but then it goes toward the wall and grows on the wall behind behind the toilet. So you want to make sure that you are looking at, okay, is this toilet stable? Are the seals around the toilet done and cleaned and new? Is the water line connecting the supply line connected properly? Do you see any leaks? Do you feel any leaks? Things like that. I'm sure that your inspector will look at things like that. They also look at water damage, but again, like I mentioned, there are times that they may not notice something. We also have the shut-off valve right here behind the sink. So again, you just want to make sure that they're not corrosive, that they're not rusted and things like that, so that you don't have any damages going into the wall. These are all things to help you determine a potential future issue that you may have, and you don't want to have these issues in your home. Okay, now I'm going to take the moment to actually talk about the leak that happened in this wall. So on the opposite side, there's a water spigot about right here, and at some point it broke and it caused absorption in the wall, and it was noticed because the wall started absorbing water and it started detaching the baseboard from the wall, because what happens is it absorbs it and then it comes off the wall. So then you can see right here the paint, once it dried out, this reattached to the wall. But you can see right here in the paint, which is folded, because when the wall absorbed it, it had brought the baseboard off and it stretched out the paint. And the water leak went all the way around to here. And then you can see right here kind of what it would look like if it had a current water issue. You see the cracks in the paint and the seal. This happens again because the wall absorbed the water, the baseboard detached or stretched away, and it stretched the paint out. And then when it dries, it resits where it belongs. And so as you can see, these are the damages that you would find around baseboard and plumbing areas. The water had also come out into the hallway right here, and you can kind of see also there, if you can see, that's a perfect view of what happened with the paint. So water can spread very quickly and very easily, and sometimes can go unnoticed for quite some time. Many times this same situation will happen, and luckily in this house we have tile flooring. Some homes have wood flooring or a laminate floor that immediately absorbs and you'll see the damage. But if you don't have that luck, whether you have a floor that is that will give you that telltale sign, and you have a hardwood floor, which would be so sad to lose, but it happens oftentimes where this was going unnoticed, and the way that you notice it is as soon as the floor gets the damage, and then that's a more difficult and a more costly repair. All right, guys, like we previously mentioned, long-term damage is not covered through your insurance company. So a lot of times, and oftentimes, homeowners go into their bathrooms, they use them, they leave them quick, take a shower, and they're not in their bathroom again. So they don't notice certain damages that can happen in a shower. One of the things that we have seen often is that when these showers are wet and the doors are opened, and you can see that there is a calcification of water on these edges, and it's because the water accumulates and then it doesn't know where to go. So it stays right there, and then eventually it accumulates that right there that you see. When you open the door, also what we've seen is that the leaking of the water trickles down on the floor. And in this case, there's tile in here, so it's not a big deal. It can be wiped up and taken away and dried out. But a lot of the times we've seen that these little leaks cause damages to the corners of the walls, and then also causing damage on these corners where the water starts absorbing into the wall and also growing mold. So these are small little issues that you want to fix up front or notice when you are looking at your home. You want to make sure that you notice, because they can be very costly. Working in that construction business that I mentioned before, in a situation like this where the shower was involved, the insurance company will not cover damage that has been going on for a long time. In their eyes, they see that as neglect, they see that as lack of maintenance, and they will not cover that. One thing that they will cover, however, is inside your shower, your drain seal at times starts disintegrating. Again, water is a universal solvent of everything, so it will start eating up at that sealant, and then with time, by it being not sealed, water will trickle under the shower pan, and it will cause damage going under the shower pan to the sides, and again being absorbed in the walls that are surrounding your shower wall. So you definitely want to make sure that these things, if you are purchasing a home, that you view these things and make sure that the maintenance of this shower drain has been done, that the sealant is there. If it's a new sealant, make sure that you look on the opposite walls and that there wasn't some type of water damage that they are trying to hide or even didn't notice. The other thing that the insurance companies do not cover, so even though the insurance companies will consider that as broken, and they will cover that on a typical basis. One thing that they will not cover is when the seals of the grout begin to disintegrate. That takes a lot of time, and that makes sense why the insurance companies wouldn't want to cover that. But as you can see here, there's a little bit of cracks, and what you don't want to do is leave those cracks happening year after year, time after time. In a situation like that, with cracks and the water continuously going into the wall, this will eventually open up even more. It will eat up at the sealant of this corner, and eventually water will trickle if water gets in there enough, and it will trickle to the back of this shower wall and into the drywall again. Okay, so another place to look for damages are going to be around the sealant again of this shower handle. Inside the shower, this piece here, there's going to be a shower valve or cartridge. Typically is what helps close the, when you turn the water off, it helps close it. And sometimes with time, and again, water being a solvent that it is, it eats up at that and then it breaks. So at that point, it's leaking inside this wall for who knows how long. Oftentimes also the shower head with time starts leaking inside the wall. One good sign that this is not working properly is that the shower will start leaking to the sides. So sometimes you'll start seeing water coming out through here or even here. And that's when you know that it's time to change your shower head and that potentially you have a leak coming into the wall and causing way more damage than you want to handle. So a good place when you're going to look at the different areas in a home, a good place to seek for water damage around the shower would be, like I mentioned, around the shower door, across the wall here on either side, and then also on the back side. So we have the shower cartridge right there. So that means that that backs up to here. It could eventually be spraying on this wall, and that could eventually mean that all of this gets full of water damage and mold. And then what happens if you have to be able to fix that? The entire shower has to be removed. If there is more than 10 square feet of mold, even if there's under 10 square feet of mold, is that really something that you want to be living in? So when you're coming to look at a home that you're about to purchase, you want to look at those areas to make sure that there are no signs of inflamed baseboards, that the wall has been patched up in some way, shape, or form around those areas. You can also kind of see the difference in the wall texture. A lot of the times, if they fixed it, there's going to be it's really difficult. Most contractors will tell you that it's really difficult to match wall texture, and what happens is what you're going to see is a patch-up job and then the actual smooth texture around it. So that's how you know that there was some type of water damage or mold in that area. And again, The final repair for actual mold job and something that's over 10 square feet would be to remove all of the tile wall, all of the wall, and 3 feet past all of the damage to make sure that you don't have any more mold in the home. I wanted to show you real quick here, right in the bathroom, right on the vanity. It looks like potentially either there has been a leak in this vanity, but upon looking on the inside, it doesn't look like the bottom of the vanity is wet. So it looks like that maybe when this tub is used, water is splashed over. And then as you can see, and I'll show you close up, along the line right here, you're gonna see a swollen vanity. The wood starts absorbing the water and it starts disintegrating the actual vanity, and eventually it starts absorbing into there, and sometimes you'll see more swelling than what you see here. But as you can see, the very front of it looks actually pretty good. There's not much water damage or anything like that. So that tells me that in this case, this tub has been used and water is splashed out and it splashes right there. We are here in the laundry room, right? There are two big things here that happen often. And one of the things that we have seen that happen oftentimes are right behind the washer, the connection of the washer, where the hose is supposed to be inserted into the drain of the wall so that it drains out of the house. A lot of the times either it was too short, it wasn't put in properly, and when the washer goes into that spin cycle and it starts bringing out the water, it's supposed to throw the water into that pipe and then exit the home. But a lot of times it wasn't properly placed in there, or it was just barely placed in there, and the pressure of the water coming out brings the hose out, causing damage in the laundry space. So that's an area that we see quite a bit of damage, because that's a lot of water all at once to cause a lot of damage. And just imagine having your laundry room on an upstairs floor. You're going to have that water come through ceilings, come through damage other floors around and things like that. So you're definitely going to see the damage there. If you had an upstairs, downstairs, two-story home and your laundry room was on the second floor, you're definitely going to see it there. But sometimes in a first story, or if the laundry is in the first story, sometimes you don't see the damage there. So you want to come into the home and you want to look and make sure that all of the areas around the seal of that washer is properly done, and that you want to make sure that the seal around the washer box is properly done, that it's put in the wall properly, that the hose is inside that pipe properly, and that way you're avoiding any future damage if you already live in the home, and if you're purchasing, that you don't miss that the previous owner had some water issues in that wall as well. And I'll show you a close-up in a minute of what that box looks like. The other thing is we are right next to the AC unit, okay? A lot of the times with an AC unit, there could be a brand new unit that's not functioning well. We've seen that many times before. An installation was put on for whatever reason, and I couldn't tell you that, so that's why we will be interviewing an AC technician in the future in another series of these videos. But a lot of the times we see that a brand new unit starts backups. It's not draining properly, it backs up, and you have a drain clog. Or sometimes that the AC unit freezes up, and then when it defrosts, it causes a lot of water damage as well. So in this situation, we have a AC unit that was leaking into the box. So right below here would be the box of the AC unit. And then as you can see, I don't know if I can, it had some water staining right here. This water stain also was extended into the bathroom on the other side of this AC unit. So as you can see, two areas have been affected from this AC unit. It was this side and the other side because everything shares a wall. So if there's a cavity in between, water is going to sit there and it's going to expand until it stops expanding, until it's absorbed, right? And so in this case, it was This wall was completely saturated by the water. The other side of the wall where the bathroom is, and it was a little toilet room, it also has water staining on the baseboards. And then, like I mentioned previously in the bathrooms, the baseboard did swell and it had the water stain. Those are all very good evidence that there's water damage here, that there could be a potential of mold. Mold will grow around these areas very quickly. In a laundry room that is typically used only for the laundry, this room isn't used often, so you know, it's dark, it's warm, it's perfect conditions for the growth of mold and things that you don't want to have in your home. All right, we have reached the end of this video, and I hope you have learned a lot of what I have talked about and all of the steps that you can take to be able to make sure that you are covered when you're doing the inspection, and make sure that you don't end up taking way more costs in your pocket. If you have any other questions or concerns about a home that you're taking a look at, please give me a call, Jamie, the Running Realtor, and let me do the running for you. Thanks, guys. If you like any of these kind of videos and this home isn't exactly what you're looking for, I specialize in running to search for the best deal and the right home for you. So please subscribe to my channel so you won't miss out on all of the wonderful homes I post about every week. This is my videographer, my son, Champ Terrell. Got anything to say, buddy? Are you happy to be here?
Kinda, yeah.
It's a sunny, hot day, huh? We're sweating. It's hot out here.